This year on town meeting day, the hot button issue here in Newbury is Article 8, asking residents if the select board should send a letter to Governor Scott, the legislature, and other elected officials saying that they don't want to build a youth detention facility here in their town. Since the closure of Woodside in 2020, the only juvenile detention center in Vermont, the fight over where to build the new facility to house youth in the criminal justice system has gotten heated.
My thoughts are that the state, for some reason, is trying to ram it down the town's throat.
Newbury resident David Tansey supported Article 8. The article on the ballot wouldn't directly impact whether or not the facility is built in the town, but residents hope it sends a message to Montpelier.
It's in a conservation district, and Newbury did not write its town plan and set up conservation districts and so on with this in mind.
The Vermont Environmental Court sided with the Department of Children and Families, disagreeing with the town. The town is now challenging that decision in the Vermont Supreme Court, shelling out tens of thousands of dollars to keep the facility out of Newbury. On town meeting day, the select board wanted to know exactly how residents felt. They want to fight the narrative that it's just a small group of people who don't want the facility in their town. So here's what voters had to say.
They're going to spend a lot of money to rehab an old house that they don't think the security is going to be there.
I feel like the facilities themselves are needed, I really do, but we're so rural and we don't have the kind of police force needed, and we're just so rural, we don't take care of certain roads.
And the votes seem to back them up. This small town of Newbury has just over 1,500 registered voters. 601 voted for the letter, and 56 voted against it. So does the majority of this town have a case of NIMBYism? Not in my backyard? Select Board member and State Representative Joseph Parsons says no.
We're saying not on a Class 4 road in the back of a town with no supporting services for a building like this. You know, if something like this is going to be a successful program, which we really hope wherever it lands it is, it's got to start, you know, from the beginning with a good process, fitting zoning requirements, working well with the town, having those support services around, and this just really doesn't.
Senator Dick Sears, who's been a proponent of the location, says of course NIMBYism's involved, and that's why there's a law that gives the state power to build group homes. Going against the law could mean the end of these types of facilities because no town is going to want them, and that could have serious consequences.
If that law is thrown out, that would put the entire system in disarray. So it's bigger and broader than just Newbury. But I've continued to back DCF in its efforts to establish a program for the hard-to-place juveniles.
So while we wait to see if and how the governor, DCF, and the legislature respond to the town's letter, Senator Sears says DCF is looking at alternative locations like St. Albans. But for now, residents can expect the select board to send a letter and feel like they have a little more ownership of their town.
I think there's a real danger that if you go through the fairly significant effort of volunteer people in creating a new town plan every several years, to have it mean nothing, what's the point?
So what's next? Newbury residents are waiting for a decision from the Vermont Supreme Court. But that still leaves the question, does state government overrule local government when it comes to private business? For Vermont Public, I'm Connor Cyrus here in Newbury.